Hey everybody, good morning, good Monday morning. Morning post in a minute. I wrote the post over at the house before I left to come over here to the shop. I'm over here at the shop today if anybody's driving by and it's going to be dead as a doornail. Look at here. Look out here on Boulevard. Usually on normal Mondays, it's just bumper to bumper gridlock as far as the eye can see up through here. But there's hardly a creature staring on this Monday before New Year's Eve. So anyhow, I brought me a little cup of coffee. Of course, I got a coffee maker in the back. So let me get settled and we'll read the morning post this morning. Hey everybody, I'll tag Facebook and Instagram down here at the bottom of this. Jill and Caleb's down in Key Largo and Key West this weekend, so Ava and I's got the shop this week. We won't do $2 worth of business the whole week. We just come over here just in case somebody has a job, but nobody's working. There's no traffic in Atlanta. Everybody's lollygagging, waiting for the new year to start, really, which will be Monday week in business terms. But anyhow, the morning post this morning, I got up this morning, sat in my living room and wrote this. I typically write it when I get to the shop, but I don't know. Just felt like writing it when I woke up this morning. It would be easy to throw all the other Christians under the bus if we were comparing them to Jimmy Carter. Maybe becoming Christian never really changed anybody. Maybe people like Jimmy Carter were just simply born being good. Maybe becoming a Christian just allows people to become more fully themselves, whether good or bad. There were many Christians who supported Hitler. There are millions of them today who hide behind Donald Trump and think that God has led them to follow and support such an evil energy that has risen around the world. One thing you will never hear mentioned along with the name Donald Trump is decency and being kind. The picture over on my Facebook page is of Savannah and Chance, my two grandkids, swimming in a pool in Key Largo. Jill, my daughter, has been a traveling fool this year, hopping on planes and taking road trips. Ava and I just renewed our passports last week. It will be my last renewal. It is for 10 years. I will be 80 when this one expires, if I don't expire first. It is weird to think in 10 years I will have lived a long life and be an 80-year-old man. And I know that those 10 years will fly by really quick. At least that is what Dr. Sheila whispered to me the other Sunday as I was telling Ed. The journey from 50 to 60 will go by really fast. She whispered to me, get ready, Eddie, because the journey from 70 to 80 goes just as fast. How did the years go so quickly? There are still so many places I will never see. I never even scratched the surface of the deserts out west in Montana and Wyoming. One road trip across Iowa and Nebraska was enough for me. Riding the back roads and seeing cornfields for hours on end was enough of that for me. But Paris, London, Rome, come on. Will I make it back to Costa Rica one day just to remember my times there with Sammy and John? There's an old saying, there's an old scripture that says, when the head of a nation is sick, the whole nation is sick. I fully expect a full-blown shit show after he is sworn in January. Look at the people he is surrounding himself with, and those that he really wanted to surround himself with. But even some of MAGA, as huge and deep in a cult as that group is in, people said, oh, hell no, not them. You are who you hang out with, who you surround yourself with. I really wish that Vice President Harris would forego being there, and really wish that Joe Biden would forego going. It would just be a way of saying, America, get ready for the dark years ahead of us. There can never be a coming together with such a darkness, such a vibration of darkness. The same darkness that has sat on the front rows of many of churches over the years has now been given the keys to the country. Jimmy Carter would almost make me to once again become a Christian. His kindness, his strength, his decency. He is a throwback to Christians of years ago who at one time preached to love your neighbor, Years ago, many of them in Cabbagetown would cook food and take it to their neighbors who had a family member that passed. Trump and MAGA are the image of the modern day Christian movement, and they claim to be the modern day patriots as they rush and storm the Capitol. I will forego watching any of the festivities of the swearing in and block out the news for a few days around it, along with millions of other Americans who can't stomach the darkness that has been invited upon our country. But just wait and see. The price of them eggs and gas is really going to plummet as soon as January the 20th gets here. Jesus. The Falcons did all right last night. I wasn't disappointed. You can't win them all. Even Jimmy Carter lost a heartbreaker one time. Like King Agrippa told Paul when Paul made his um, case to him about becoming a Christian when he stood before King Agrippa. He said, Paul, you almost convinced me to be a Christian. Jimmy Carter, 39th president, I believe it was, of these United States, you could have convinced me to be a Christian. The world could use a few more Christians like Jimmy. Yeah, love y'all.